before you make the decision to buy a home, or at the very least, at the very beginning of your process, you're going to want to plan for all of the costs you're going to be responsible for in buying that house. Now, most people know that they're going to need to save to make that down payment, but many are unaware of the closing costs associated with buying a house. Hi, I'm Marilee Wolf with Compass Real Estate, and here's some helpful information on what those costs are so that you can ask your realtor about them. He or she can give you an estimate for what those costs are going to look like in your price point and in the area in which you want to buy a home. So first of all, what are closing costs? Closing costs are the fees and payments that you have to make at closing in addition to your down payment. Again, the purchase price of your future property as well as its location are going to impact some of those costs, and then others of those costs are going to just be a flat fee. For instance, two of the bigger closing costs will be your transfer tax and your title insurance. Here in Pennsylvania, transfer tax is charged when you're coming and you're going. They're going to charge both the buyer and the seller, and that fee will vary from township to township. It's very typical that transfer tax is going to be a total of 2% of the purchase price, and customarily that's going to be split between the buyer and the seller so that each side is paying 1% each. Every now and then, you're going to find a township that charges a total of, say, 2.5%, as is the case in Radnor Township. Or in the case of the city of Philadelphia, you'll find a whopping 4.278%, or 2.139% per side. So for a $500,000 house in Lower Merion Township, the buyer side transfer tax would be 1%, or $5,000. In neighboring Radnor Township, the buyer side would be 1.25%, or $6,250. And in Philadelphia, that $500,000 home will have a buyer side transfer tax of $10,695. All right, let's move on to title insurance. The cost of this is going to be based on the cost of the house, no matter where that house is located in Pennsylvania. Different title companies are going to charge slightly varying fees for their title work to be done, but the cost of the insurance itself is going to be the same. Right now, for that $500,000 purchase, the title insurance will cost $3,635.50. So, those are the two biggies, but here are a few other closing costs to be aware of. A few typical fees will be recording your deed with your county, getting your appraisal done, the cost of pulling your credit report, lender origination fees and underwriting fees. Now, how much is all of this going to add up to? According to Freddie Mac, they're typically going to land somewhere in the 2 to 5% range of your total purchase price. Now, with that in mind, let's take the example of buying a $500,000 home in Lower Merion Township, which had that 1% per side transfer tax. Now, the closing costs for that home are going to be somewhere around $13,000, which you would need to have in addition to your down payment. Now, there are some other costs that are going to be associated with that purchase as well. Things like lender escrows and reimbursement of any prepaid fees or taxes to the seller. And that's going to add up to several $1,000s more. But for the sake of this video, we won't go into those fees right now. Keep in mind, if you're in the market for a home above or below this price range, your closing costs, of course, are going to be higher or lower. Bottom line, planning for the fees and payments that you're going to need to cover when you're at that closing table for your new home. It's important. It's important to know that up front. Helping you get a handle on what those costs are going to look like early in your home buying process is just one of the many important roles that a good buyer agent is going to perform for you. Partnering with a local realtor who can give you the guidance and confidence you need throughout the process is going to pay off big time for you in terms of being ready and being confident when it's time for you to move forward with making an offer. I hope that helps.